Wouldn't it be nice if pitchers could cruise all day like this? 1, 2, 3 innings for both Wyatt Beto and Brett Tauscher as we begin the top of the second scoreless at Palm Springs Stadium. Jacob Kronberg and Evan Schmeiser on the CWL YouTube as Daniel Youngblood checks, swings a pitch foul from Beto to begin the second.
It's honestly one of the best things about playoff baseball. You see all the best pitchers, they're fresh, and they're going at it.
Beto out of the windup. 0-1 misses low to Youngblood, evens the count at a ball and a strike. Daniel Youngblood, Cole Brodnansky, and Cole Rankin due up in the second for the Manitoba Northstars. Beto's 1-1. Slapped foul on the right side. And into the Northstars pen it goes. Wyatt Beto from Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Went to Wake Forest University for a year, then Lackawanna Junior College, and finished up at Elon University. So like the North Carolina schools did Beto, and he's played at some top-tier baseball in the collegiate level. 1-2, fastball, below the knees, ball 2.
It's a very helpful thing to build up big game experience like that. I mean, you're playing some fierce competition in the ACC. And to come out here and be in a playoff-like situation, it's as if you've been there before.
2-2 the count to Youngblood. Beto rocks and fires, and Youngblood slices one out of play. I mean, college baseball starts today, so right on cue. And that Wake Forest team, that former ball club of Wyatt Beto, is some force to be reckoned with. Number 6 in the country preseason.
That'll certainly help. Maybe a little extra motivation for him today.
2-2, curveball just spins outside, and the count pushes full.
I know he didn't get the call, but that was a really good over-the-top 12-6 we saw from Beto. That'll keep a hitter guessing.
He's got confidence in all his pitches as the 3-2 misses low, ball 4. Leadoff walk in the second inning to Daniel Youngblood. And the Northstars were the first base runner of the game in this scoreless affair.
And I'll be extremely curious to see how Northstars manager Brian Kloppe wants to manage these kind of situations. With a man on and nobody out, how do you go about manufacturing a run? Do you put a man in motion? Do you try to bunt? Or even a hit and run?
Well, I don't think we're bunting with a man who had a 2-run shot yesterday. That's the Florence Yalls-bound Cole Brodnansky as he takes a fastball at the knees for strike 1. A 2-run shot yesterday was Brodnansky's second long ball of the winter. And the victory over the Rush. Snap throw over to first, and Youngblood dives in safely. Right on right, the matchup as the middle infield pinches. Beto ready from the belt. The 0-1, check swing, foul ball. We've seen a couple of those early from the Northstars hitters as Brodnansky falls behind 0-2.
And you have to feel really good about that if you're Murphy behind the plate and Beto. That's a sign that these hitters, they're not picking you up all that well. Because Beto's not an overpowering hard thrower. He's a guy he needs to locate and change his speeds.
Well, the name of the game is keeping guys off balance and getting outs while doing so. As Beto steps off, we run through the Grizzly defense. Wyatt Beto on the mound, Jackson Murphy behind the plate. Wataru Kumagai at first with Tomokai Shirei and Rio Kogure up the middle. Sam Frontino mans the hot corner. 0-2 from Beto, breaking ball, slapped foul. The outfield for Alberta, Tavius Ford, Desmond Gates, and Jake Hall. That's left to right. Across the grass as the wind blows out towards center field. We haven't seen that very often this winter.
This might be the first that I can remember. And even doing games during the summer, it rarely happened, if at all.
No score, top of the second. Youngblood leads off first. Beto goes home. 0-2, dots the knees for a called strike 3. And that's the second punch out of the game for Wyatt Beto.
And to get a punch out looking on a straight fastball, nonetheless, Brodnansky clearly he's looking for a breaking ball, and we've already seen from Beto, he's established that good, slow, big breaker. And if he's keeping him guessing this much, this early, then he could be in for a lot of success.
Youngblood runs on the first pitch. Rankin swings and misses. Jackson Murphy loses it on the transfer. It's going to be a stolen base for Daniel Youngblood.
I think, actually, Jacob, they're going to call Youngblood back to first because I think Rankin got a piece of that ball.
Very faint contact, but it appears that's the call from Roman Frecking in the field. So no stolen base. And a 0-1 count to Rankin. Goes after the next pitch, flaring it into left field and down for a hit. A dying quail off the bat of Cole Rankin. And Manitoba gets the first hit of the contest, now with 2 on and 1 out for Taz Worrell.
Well, first of all, Jacob, I might have to take that phrase from you, a dying quail. It's a pretty good way to describe that. It barely went up in the air at all and just in the middle of no man's land in the shallow part of left. It was a great pitch from Beto, and he had him fooled, but sometimes you don't get the results.
Well, the infield shifted right, expecting Rankin to pull as Worrell goes after the first pitch. Bouncer up the middle. Shirey behind the bag. Bobbles steps on second. Did he beat Rankin? Yes, he did. A ground ball with eyes, bouncing off the mound, kicking off the lip. Both Shirey and Kogure were there. Shirey bobbled, but smartly just stepped on second instead of trying to force something elsewhere.
Really nice heads-up play, and Shirey had a great chance to show off his athleticism. That ball was kicking all over the place, getting near the second base bag. You weren't going to turn 2 either way. Really good job to stay composed and get the middleman.
Runners on the corners now with 2 down for Xiaopin Ho, who takes a fastball down and in for ball 1. Xiaopin Ho, one of our many two-way players in the CWL. We've seen him pitch a ton. He's the shortstop this afternoon for the Northstars. Big leadoff first for Worrell as Beto pauses. Now delivers home, and the 1-0 curveball dances into the zone for a called strike 1. This is the second California Winter League appearance for Xiaopin Ho. Was here back in 2021 after spending a year as a Marlins farmhand. Bell tie set for Beto. 1-1 in the dirt through the wickets of Murphy. Youngblood going home, covers late, and Youngblood crosses safely with the first run of the ball game. And Manitoba is in front 1-0.
Really good heads-up base running play by Youngblood. Sometimes it can be really difficult to see a wild pitch like that. It went right through the catcher Murphy's legs and kicked off Steve Bartelstein's leg behind the plate and kicked away. And you really need a good walking lead and to be heads up to see the ball and react quickly.
It's going to go down as a wild pitch on the ball in the dirt. 1 run in. Now Worrell on second. Xiaopin Ho bounces it to short. Long hop for Kogure. Backs up on it. Sets his feet. And a strong throw across to first. Gets Xiaopin Ho to end the inning. But the Northstars on the scoreboard first on a wild pitch by Wyatt Beto. We'll see if the freebie runs come back to bite somebody later on. 1-0. Manitoba leads. We go to the home second. It's a 1-0 lead for the Manitoba Northstars over the Alberta Grizzly as we begin the home half of the second at Palm Springs Stadium. Jacob Kronberg and Evan Schmeiser here. Thank you so much for spending your Friday afternoon with us. Jackson Murphy leads off. For the Grizzly, it's Murphy, Rio Kogare, and Andre White, the heart of the Alberta order, against Brett Taucher, who worked a 1-2-3 first and is now staked with a 1-run lead. First pitch breaking ball spins outside to Murphy for ball 1. And a look at the Manitoba defense. Taucher on the mound, Brodnansky behind the plate. Cole Rankin at first, Denver Blinn and Xiaopin Ho up the middle, with Brett Donady at third. As the breaking ball finds the inner half for a called strike to Murphy. Left to right in the outfield is Taylor Lomack, Nick Panzetta, and Daniel Youngblood, one of the most athletic outfields we have. Taucher out of the windup. 1-1, hit on the ground to short. Xiaopin Ho waits on it, gobbles it up, and a sidearm toss across the diamond, low but handled by Rankin for out number 1.
This is beyond a huge inning for Taucher. We've seen it all season long and even early on in the playoffs. Shutdown innings, extremely difficult to come by. If Taucher's able to work a scoreless second frame, still with that 1-0 lead, then it puts enormous pressure on the number 1 overall seed in the Grizzly.
1 out and nobody on for Rio Kogare, who takes a fastball upstairs, ball 1. Kogare, a shortstop from Japan, hitting .321 this season. Open stance in the lefty box as he swings over a fastball for strike 1. Infield relatively straight up, the outfield shallow and shaded to the opposite field. As Taucher kicks and fires. A breaking ball that's fouled back and out of play for strike 2. That'll rattle in the top of the bleachers and begin the trek down toward the concourse. Taucher with the staggered stance on the mound, really angled toward the third base dugout. His 1-2, slapped foul. Good spoil swing by Rio Kogare to extend the battle with Brett Taucher.
This is a really good at-bat at the moment from Kogare. Just seeing a few more extra pitches from Taucher, it gives the entire lineup a bit of an advantage. Maybe you can go back with some scouting reports, regardless of the result.
Right on left the matchup. The next 1-2 fought off once again. Brett Taucher is a quick worker. Right back on the mound before most of the time the hitter is resettled in. Another 1-2. Slap to the left side. Reaching out, Xiaopin Ho, and he makes the catch. On a soft liner into the hole, it's tracked down by the Manitoba shortstop for out number 2.
Despite the result for Kogare, it's a tremendous at-bat. You forced Taucher essentially to go to his entire arsenal to finally get that put out. So now he can go back to the rest of his teammates, give an idea of, hey, this is how his breaking ball's moving. This is how straight or how much life his fastball might have. It could be very helpful second time through the order.
And the Grizzly doing a really nice job of putting bat on ball. As the first pitch fastball to the Grizzly DH, Andre White, is in there for strike 1. Oh, 1 on the way and in there for a called strike 2. Taucher ahead in the count, 0-2. Looking for a second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. His team in front, 1-0. Taucher steps, kicks, and goes, and the 0-2 misses off the plate away, ball 1. Andre White looking to kick, start a 2-out rally for Alberta. The Charlotte, North Carolina native and NC Central product. 1-2. Hit on the ground up the middle. Blinn there. Sets his feet. And a good feed to first gets Andre White. 6 up, 6 down for Brett Taucher, but still without one of those patented strikeouts. He'll take the scoreless frames, I would expect, for sure. We're through 2 full. Manitoba 1, Alberta 0 on the CWL YouTube.
We're moving and grooving at the moment as we move to the top of the third. The second game of the day in the Canadian divisional round of the CWL playoffs. Wyatt Beto getting back to work, and he gets a swing and a miss from the 9 men in the order, Brett Donity. Donity will be followed by Taylor Lomack and Denver Blinn in a 1-0 game in favor of the 5th-seeded Northstars over the top overall seed in the Alberta Grizzly. Manitoba able to plate a run back in the second due to a wild pitch from Beto, a ball that scooted right through the legs of the catcher Murphy. Beto able to work ahead 0-2. Donity getting the start at the third base spot. He's hitting 103 overall. He hits that one softly, gobbled up by the shortstop Kogure, charges, and a really good strong throw for the first out. Kogure at shortstop, he really covers a lot of ground, and he's smooth out there.
These are two of the top 3 defensive teams in the California Winter League. So these pitchers not afraid to rely on the guys behind them.
The speedy Taylor Lomack lines that one down the right field line. It'll slice foul into the Northstars bullpen for strike 1. He popped out to the second baseman Shirei, his only at bat.
You look at the Alberta defense, the only CWL team to commit single-digit errors.
And that is certainly going to be helpful. That breaking ball misses outside 1-1. The third baseman Frontino playing a step or two onto the infield grass, way off the line at third. Everybody else pretty straight up. The outfield playing shallow overall. High bouncer, a leaping grab by Frontino to flag it down across the diamond in time. Dazzling play, Sam Frontino. Lomack beat that ball straight into the ground, and it took a crazy high bounce, and Frontino needed every bit of his frame to leap up and track it down for the second out.
Then he needed every bit of that arm to throw out Lomack.
That is certainly the truth. That's a guy you want to keep off base, and he did that right there. 2 up, 2 down in the top of the third. It brings up Denver Blinn, who struck out his only at bat. He takes a breaking ball outside for ball 1. 1 hit on the day for both teams. It came from the Northstars. Other than that, it's been some good defense and all Wyatt Beto and Brett Taucher. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count.
This is what playoff baseball is all about. Your best versus my best.
Every pitch just seems that more significant, and because it is. Beto out of the windup. Big breaking ball. Slow bouncer. Charges Frontino at third. Throws on the run. Out is the call at first base. The North Star dugout does not think so. It doesn't matter. 2 dazzling plays in the top of the third from Sam Frontino manning the hot corner. And 1, 2, 3 go Manitoba. We're through 2.5 at Palm Springs Stadium. It's still the North Stars 1 and the Grizzly 0. Well, a moment ago, we saw the Alberta Grizzly flashing the leather. Now we'll see if they can get the bats going. It's the bottom of the order, and Kumagai, Shirei, and Gates. Wataru Kumagai swings to the first pitch, and he hits it foul towards the Northstar dugout. Grizzly trying to get their first hit against Taucher on the mound. They've been effective, at least in putting the ball in play, as that changeup misses down and away for a ball, 1-1 to count. No strikeouts through 2 innings for Taucher. A guy we're used to seeing just light up the strikeout numbers. That ball's ripped foul right past the first base coach's box.
This is going to be a tough Alberta team to keep at bay. They were second in the California Winter League with a .265 average as a bunch. They were third in on-base percentage. They were second in slugging.
Look out. That 1-2 fastball came up and in and drilled Kumagai. Looked like in the upper arm. He seems to be all right. Kumagai takes off his shin guard, and he'll trot slowly to first base with a nice round of applause from the Palm Springs faithful at the stadium.
Now batting the second baseman, number 7.
Yeah, that one's going to bruise up a little tomorrow.
If you're Alberta, though, you take it. It's your first base runner, and with a guy like Taucher, you have to make that count. It brings up the second baseman, Tomokai Shirei. He'll bat with nobody out, Kumagai on first after just getting hit by a pitch. Trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the third. See Taucher out of the stretch for the first time as that changeup misses inside. Kumagai ended up starting and stopping over at first.
Well, the key to trying to get to Taucher is going to be to make him focus on those base runners once they're on. Try and distract him from the action at the plate.
Kumagai does not go, and that curveball's up and in, 2-0 the count.
Taucher's a big guy, and the bigger pitchers can't always get to the plate as quickly. You can take advantage of that, trying to force some stuff into scoring position, and it's a very willing team on the base paths in the Alberta Grizzly, who stole 32 bags this year in 15 games.
For what it's worth, also the first time we see Taucher out of the stretch, and he slide steps, and that one's foul-tipped at home plate. The count moves to 2-1 to Shirei, who comes in hitting a .120 on the year. A single RBI, no extra base hits. A lot of room on the right side of the infield with the first baseman Renkin holding the runner. Blinn pinched towards the second base bag to turn 2. The 2-1, there goes Kumagai. The pitch taken outside. The throw down on one hop. It's not in time. It's off the glove of Blinn. Backed up by Xiaopin Ho. Good job by Kumagai. He steals second. Just his second stolen base of the year, but he got a really good jump.
Yeah, Brodnanski didn't have the best throw. I thought for a second he was going to be able to get him. Kumagai, not your natural base stealer. That's just his second of the year, as he said. And even with the good jump, it was a good pitch to throw on for Brodnanski. It just didn't quite get there on the right line.
And this is the kind of field where if you put anything on a throw, putting it in on one hop, you don't know where it's going to bounce. 3-1 the count, no outs, Kumagai looming at second. Opportunity to tie the game for the Grizzly. That's off the end of the bat, served in the right center field. Penzenda coming in. He makes a nice play, charging in from the center field spot. We've seen excellent center field play all over the California Winter League, and Penzetta got a great jump, and he showed us a little more of that.
Number 4, Desmond Gay.
This is an outfield that's going to cover a lot of ground.
And you have to. There's a lot of room out there. 400 to dead center, and even down the lines, 350 to left and right. It brings up the ninth man, Desmond Gates, batting now with 1 out, and Kumagai at second base. In the bottom of the third, trailing 1-0 to the Northstars. A good fastball at the knees. Taucher able to work ahead. Still in search of that first strikeout is Brett Taucher. We haven't really seen the Grizzly barrel anything up, but they're getting decent swings. A guy we're used to seeing make hitters look silly. A long look at Kumagai at second base. He has an enormous lead. And that curveball stays outside to the lefty Gates. Kumagai must be 6 steps at least off the second base bag. You have the shortstop in Xiaopin Ho playing behind him, not really holding him on. If anything, more shaded up the middle with the lefty Gates hitting. The 1-1, that's low, 2-1. Try the fastball. You have Toucher, now he's kicking some dirt around on the mound, trying to adjust his landing spot. We saw a little bit of that early on, especially from Nick Galatis and the Bombers. And now Toucher's good to go as he stares in for his sign. His pace has slowed tremendously ever since Kumagai reached base. Perhaps getting in his head a little bit. He comes set, another long look at Kumagai at second. And he gets a swing and a miss at a good changeup, going down and into Shirei. Or the Gates, beg your pardon. It evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A good amount of room up the middle. The second baseman, Blinn, playing a few steps over towards the pull side, towards the first base bag. Toucher comes set once again. He deals the 2-2. That one's foul tipped in and out of the glove of Brodnansky. The ball ended up going to the backstop. Not sure at first if that ball was tipped or not. We're waiting on, had to wait for that signal for a moment. We've seen a few long at-bats that the Grizzly are able to put up against Toucher. Anything to help just with getting his pitch count up there, maybe trying to get to that Northstars bullpen. Change up, and Gates able to lay off, going down and away. It was a nasty one. Somehow Gates able to lay off.
Toucher not that I would say prone to walking guys, but he can be susceptible to the occasional free pass. He's walked 2 guys in 4 of his 6 appearances. So not a high number, but he will put a guy or 2 aboard each time through.
And Gates trying to do just that. At the very least, reach base. And that fastball's outside, ball 4. That fires up the Grizzly dugout as Gates takes first base. A hit batter to Kumagai to start the inning. Now a 1-out walk to Desmond Gates. Puts men on first and second with 1 out. As we flip over to the top of the lineup, it's Travius Ford, who had a pretty well-hit ball on a fly out to center field.
I would say it was the best ball hit against Toucher so far, and it was the first pitch of the game for Brett.
Well,
now see that outfield take a step back.
And Toucher does start forward with a fastball. It's a little high. Now we're going to get a meeting on the mound as the catcher Brodnansky, pretty brisk jog out to talk to Toucher. And here comes manager Brian Kloppe as well.
Just want to calm him down. Let him resettle in and focus up for Travius Ford, who is a very dangerous hitter at the plate. He is someone who will be going to spring training with a pro ball club. In just a few weeks, he'll be joining his head coach here, Jared Lemieux, in Lake Erie, the Crushers of the Frontier League. So this is a bat that caught the eyes of the coaches and the scouts around here, leading things off for the Grizzly, and a great opportunity for them to get back on the board.
For Ford, certainly a lot of positive momentum. You get to leave here, and you know exactly what the next part of your journey is as a ball player. But for now, he bats with a 1-0 count, first and second, 1 out. His Grizzly trailing 1-0 to the Northstars in the bottom of the third. The 1-1, that's high once again, 2-0 the count. All of a sudden, Toucher fighting himself in this third inning. The high stress pitches starting to ramp up. A hit batter and a walk coming in the third. He comes set. Here's the 2-0. Big swing and a miss by Ford. He ends up falling over home plate. Almost falling over, that is.
He's trying to hit a 9-run home run.
That might have been one of the biggest swings I've seen from anybody the entire season.
Look, 2-0. He struggled to find the zone. You knew you were going to get a fastball for a strike.
For what it's worth, I think he tried to hit that to Lake Erie. 2-1 the count. Toucher comes set. Low leg kick. And he gets a called strike on a breaking ball. Coming back towards the inside part of the plate to the righty Ford. And Ford steps out. He's not happy about it.
Now you've got me questioning if we went far enough forward, would we get to Ohio?
That's a good question, my friend. I do have to wonder if we're facing north, south, or even east or west. There's definitely an easy way to figure that out, but we'll take it one thing at a time. Toucher comes set with a 2-2 count, 1 out, first and second. That ball's on the line, through the hole on the left side for a base hit. Kumagai being waved around third. He's trying to score. The throw to the plate is up the line. Kumagai slides in safely to tie the game at 1. On a broken bat, base hit from Travius Ford, he's tied the game in the third. It was a very aggressive wave around at third from manager Jerry Lemieux. Everyone had to hold up at first, not sure if that ball was going to be caught, but Kumagai got the wave nonetheless.
It's a big piece of hit, and it was the inning you needed to capitalize and get on the board.
Ford able to take advantage of the hit batter in the walk this inning as Frontino checks his swing and fouls that one into the screen. The first hit of the afternoon for Alberta comes on that broken bat, humpback line drive that goes through the hole on the left side. The right fielder, Youngblood, playing fairly deep and shaded towards the line. Everybody else straight up. That one's off the hands and fouled into the screen to the right side.
Evan, I've done our research. We would need to go pretty much through the right field foul pole to get to Ohio. Mainly east, a little bit north. That is the direction we would have to head.
You'd have to clear a mountain in the distance here, probably a few more mountains than the Great Plains. Could be done. There goes Ford on the 0-2. It's a called strike 3. To throw the second, plenty of time to nail Travius Ford. Good strong throw by Cole Brodnansky. And that retires the side in the third. But not before. The aforementioned Travius Ford able to deliver a clutch RBI single to knot this game up at 1. To the fourth we go. And a tie game on the CWL YouTube. Welcome back, CWL fans. We move to the top of the fourth. Wyatt Beto will get back to work with a new ball game. Travius Ford able to tie it up with a base hit a moment ago in the third as Nick Penzetta shows bunt and bunts it foul towards the first base dugout. Not a bad idea to try to get things going, but something we're not used to seeing with Penzetta hitting out of the 3 spot. Certainly a good athlete, and he has shown that off once or twice today already in center field. He's behind 0-2, going after a breaking ball down and away. Beto trying to pick up a shutdown inning. Trying to go toe-to-toe with Brett Taucher of the Northstars. A fastball right down the chute for a called strike 3. Penzetta knew it. He already started walking off. Third strikeout of the day for Beto. That's a good way to start it, dealing with the heart of this Northstars lineup.
Why Beto looks sharp, to say the least. He's got a feel for all of his pitches right now.
The first pitch is fouled off to the right side into Sunrise Park by Daniel Youngblood.
And what I love is that fastball and that curveball. Any location, pretty much any count.
It's certainly a good way to keep a lineup guessing. Here's the 0-1 to Youngblood. Back to the box. It hits off his glove and then Beto's face. He gets up. No one's going to be able to make a play on this ball. It kind of just died in the middle of the infield grass between the mound and second base. Infield hit for Youngblood. Looks like manager Jared Lemieux will come out to check on Wyatt Beto. He was able to pop up right away on a comeback that looks like it first hit his glove and then deflected off his face. He's walking around the top of the mound. Our trainer Austin's going to come out as well, and they'll check on him. We'll step aside for a moment while they take care of all that. We thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen, and Beto's just fine. He's going to stay in the game, just a precaution. It never hurts. 1 out, Youngblood at first after the infield single a moment ago. Swinging at the first pitch is Brodnansky. That's through the hole on the left side for a base hit. Brodnansky goes after the first pitch, and back-to-back singles for Manitoba. Puts men on first and second with 1 out. An opportunity trying to answer back after giving up a run of their own a moment ago.
Cole Brodnansky has turned his offensive season around over the last 5 games. Through his first 7 games, he was hitting 176. He now has the average up to 396.
Cole Rankin goes after a first pitch breaking ball and comes up empty.
He's now working on a 5-game hitting streak, 3 of those games multi-hit efforts. Adding another stepping stone to this offense.
If you're able to get hot at the right time, it certainly helps. As that breaking ball is in the dirt, Murphy able to keep it around home plate. It was also 89 miles per hour, that previous base hit off the bat of Brodnansky. Hit the ball a lot harder than I thought he did.
It came hard off the bat. The grass kind of slowed it down a little bit, some of the moisture out there.
Here's the 1-1 from Beto. Just misses a little inside to the lefty Rankin. Cole Rankin singled his only at bat in the second. 1 of 3 hits for Manitoba as we sit 1-1 in the top of the 4th. Pretty good swing. That ball's lined out to right center field. Over his gate, he's able to put it away. Moving over to his left. That ball was hit on a rope by Cole Rankin. Thought it could be trouble for just a moment. But it's the second out.
Just a little bit off the end of the bat. Kept that ball afloat for Gates to get over.
And it brings up Taz Worrell. bounced into a fielder's choice, his only at bat in the second. Part of a second inning where the Northstars were able to get on the board as Worrell takes the first pitch breaking ball at the knees for a strike. Beto trying to work out of a jam. But first and second, one out, now sitting with two away. A short lead at second from Youngblood, and that fastball is on the outside corner, 0-2. Beto still with a pretty good pace, even working out of the stretch with men aboard. The right fielder, Jake Hall, is playing extremely shallow. That 0-2, high bouncer. Frontino able to grab it, steps on the third base bag. Youngblood wasn't really running from second to third base. That retires the side. No runs, a couple hits, and two men left for Manitoba. We're through 3.5 on the CWL YouTube in a tie game at 1. Heart of the order coming up for Alberta. It'll be Jake Hall, Jackson Murphy, and Rio Kogare. Getting things started in the bottom of the fourth, tied at 1. The number 1 overall seed, Alberta Grizzly, and the 5th seeded Manitoba Northstars. First pitch from Hall is ripped in the base hit past the outstretched glove of Xiaopin Ho. A laser beam of a base hit to get things started for Hall. That brings up Jackson Murphy. He bounced out to shortstop, his only at bat. Taucher back to work in the 4th. He's battled, has not had his best stuff. We've seen more deep counts than we're used to seeing from him. Also gave up a run back in the 3rd. First pitch curveball's in there for a strike. Righty on righty matchup.
This is an Alberta team that got handled by Taucher last time out. They've adjusted. They're already the team that strikes out the least in the league.
That ball gets through the catcher, Brodnansky, all the way to the screen. Taucher tried a breaking ball, but he spiked it and it missed way outside. That allows Hall to advance to second base pretty easily. Opportunity for Alberta. A chance to manufacture a run with a man on second and nobody out in this tie ball game. And a lot of room on the right side of the infield. The second baseman, Blinn, pinched towards the second base bag, holding on the runner. He moves a few steps back towards his normal position. That 1-1 is ripped in the left field. That'll drop for a hit. Over to get is Lomac in the alleyway. Rounding third is Hall. He's going to score easily as the throw comes into second base on a hop. RBI single, Jackson Murphy. The Grizzly have taken a 2-1 lead, putting up runs in back-to-back innings. Goodness, what a consistent team. They just keep coming after you.
There's just not a dead spot in the lineup. And look, Hull and Murphy have performed all season long. That's the 10th run batted in for Jackson Murphy.
That brings up Rio Kogure, who put up a really good at bat his first time up, lining out to the shortstop on a knuckling ball out to him. He takes a breaking ball low. Not the same sharp, crisp breaking ball we're used to seeing from Taucher. A lot of the Grizzly hitters are picking it up. Slide step, a soft chopper to the second baseman Blaine. Flips to second for one, over the first. Out is the call at first base, just in time to get Kogure. 4-6-3 double play, really nice turn up the middle.
Taucher needed something of the sorts, of a routine out to get back into the rhythm. That empties the bases. Now he can work back out of the windup where he has seemed much more comfortable and can pitch to his tempo as opposed to focusing on those base runners. But that's what we said. Make him pay attention to you on base.
The designated hitter, Andre White, will dig in. Grounded out to second, his only at bat. Taucher's still working out the stretch, but has to be more comfortable with nobody on base. As the first pitch from White is skied foul to the left side towards the concession stand.
This is very interesting because he is normally a wind-up pitcher.
Yeah, I thought something looked different. Yeah, Taucher all of a sudden working out of the stretch. Really short leg kick. A breaking ball is on the outside corner, 0-2. Maybe he found some comfort working with men on base recently. Or even getting the double play ball. He goes, hey, that worked out pretty well. I'll stick with it for a moment. Here's the 0-2 out of the stretch, way outside, 1-2. 2 outs, nobody on base for Andre White in the bottom of the fourth. An RBI single by Jackson Murphy was able to plate Jake Hall to give the Grizzly a 2-1 lead. Taucher with a long look in, he comes set, and he deals the 1-2. A check swing, dribbled foul at the third base line. Even with a swing like that, we're not seeing as much discomfort from the Grizzly lineup on these breaking balls.
There's been virtually no swing and miss. The only strikeout was a looking one of Sam Frontino.
Taucher trying to finish off this fourth inning. Swung on and missed. A fastball towards the upper part of the strike zone. Just the second strikeout of the afternoon for Taucher. And that finally retires the side in the fourth. Not before Hall and Murphy get things started with back-to-back base hits, leading to another run. The number 1 seeded Grizzly back out in front 2-1 over the Manitoba Northstars. 8-9-1 coming up for Manitoba as they look to answer back in the top of the 5th inning, all of a sudden trailing the Alberta Grizzly 2-1. Alberta able to put up back-to-back runs in their half of the 3rd and 4th innings. Wyatt Beto gets back to work, only throwing 51 pitches through 4. He's at a pretty good spot, and it's a first pitch breaking ball in there to Xiaopin Ho. He bounced out to shortstop, his only at bat in the 2nd. 3 hits for each team. Xiaopin Ho swings and misses at a high breaking ball. Behind in the count, 0-2. There's a little bit of stretching going on in the Grizzly bullpen. Nothing else besides that. As that ball's hit high in the air to right center field, it drives Jake Hall way back there. He's able to make the over-the-shoulder grab a few steps shy of the track. Hall was playing shallow at first. He got a good jump on it and able to track it down.
Yeah, gave it a ride. And Beto, even with the 2 hits allowed last inning, is in a rhythm.
He certainly is. That ball carried a lot more than I expected. The wind was blowing out earlier. The flags are calm at the moment. As Brett Donnelly swings late at a fastball, he's behind 0-1. Donnelly grounded out to short, his only at bat. That one's fouled straight back into the screen, 0-2. Maybe 2 feet higher. That could have been coming back to Joey in the PA announcer's booth. I feel like I've said that a lot this season.
Yeah, I'll say we're running out of time, Evan. We're convinced that there was going to be a foul ball opportunity for one of us up here. Has not come yet. We've got just 3 games remaining after today.
0-2 breaking ball hits softly to the shortstop Kogre. Charges from the infield grass, fires across. Sensational smooth play by Kogre. He's really showing off the leather today.
This team, 1 through 9 defensively, makes the difficult look routine. Just so smooth from Frontino to Kogure to Shirei to Kumagai.
First pitch is a breaking ball outside to the leadoff man, Lomac, who's been kept quiet, 0 for 2 with a pop-up and a ground out to 3rd. And it's been an excellent defensive effort from Alberta at the moment. Big swing, but it's fouled back into the screen. Lomac, a guy that Manitoba would love to get on base. The league leader in stolen bases with 16.
He is a walking double, as is the leadoff man for Alberta, Avius Ford.
Beto out of the windup, a big bending curveball, called strike 2. Trying to work a 1-2-3 top of the 5th. Holding off Manitoba at the moment, leading 2-1. The 1-2 at 2 outs. Fastball a little outside. Beto takes a few hops around the mound. He knew he made a good pitch, but it barely missed. Takes a short walk, gathers himself. Lomax steps out. And he'll dig back in. Beto comes set. He deals the 2-2. That one spiked in the dirt. Looked like he tried a changeup. Beto perhaps trying to find a new landing position. Kind of came down awkwardly, and he steps behind the mound after kicking some dirt around where we just landed. Trying not to lose Lomac. The 3-2 at 2 outs. He misses low again. Another awkward delivery from Beto, and he loses Lomac. The last guy you want to walk. So it's a 2-out base runner. We're going to have a meeting on the mound. The catcher Murphy goes out to talk to Beto. In comes manager Jared Lemieux, trying to settle down his righty. First playoff game we're seeing from the top overall seed, Alberta Grizzly. Maybe just trying to slow things down. And perhaps a reminder to keep Lomac close. I would be surprised if we do not see Lomac take off. Representing the tying run with 2 outs. It brings up Denver Blinn. He struck out in the first, bounced out to third in the third inning.
I wouldn't be shocked if Jared Lemieux signaled for a pitch out in that meeting.
That's a good idea, too. It's a good-sized lead from Lomack. He takes off. That pitch is inside. No throw to second.
I think it was the plan, based off the way that Murphy stood up.
Yep.
There's stolen base 17 for Lomack.
Perhaps couldn't get a grip on the ball. You figured he was going to take off. We didn't even see a throw over the first from Beto. The 1-0 is a curveball that misses a little high. 2-0 the count to Blinn. First base is open for what it's worth. Blinn, a small statured guy as he is, he's got a big bat. Real quick swing, and he gets a lot of velocity on his batted balls. Has a good swing, but he fouls it back into the screen.
This is the danger zone of the Manitoba Northstars lineup. Their top 5 guys from Lomack to Brodnansky as a group hitting over 360. The lower 4 guys in the order as a group hitting below the Mendoza line.
A bit of a top-heavy lineup, and that's where we sit with a 2-man Blinn. Big swing, but he comes up empty on the fastball.
Just feels like some of these hacks that the Northstars are trying to do a little too much. And sure, Blinn's shown he's got home run power, hit one at the stadium this year, but you're a 333 hitter because you can be a strong bat-to-ball guy. Find a hole. Lomack's going to score on anything that gets through.
2-2, 2 outs. Lomack at second. As that one's off the end of the bat, popped up foul beyond the athletic trainer's tent. Blinn able to stay alive for the moment. With his Northstars trailing 2-1, trying to knock off the top overall seed Grizzly. And we saw the 4th-seeded Washington Blue Sox a day ago take down the number 1 Oregon Lumberjacks in the American Division yesterday. Pitching was the big difference. We'll do it again. Beto comes set. Lomack has a huge lead at second. That one's lined to center field, coming on his gate. It'll drop in front for a base hit. Lomack around third. He's trying to score. The throw home is offline. Coming across the plate is Lomack. Blinn goes to second on the throw. Big time clutch RBI single. Denver Blinn. He's tied the game at 2.
State controlled, choked up a little bit with 2 strikes, and a single up the middle. There's just, I don't know if there's an arm out here that could throw out Lomack, especially with 2 outs where he's going on the swing, going on contact. You've got a center fielder fielding that cleanly and charging, and there's really not going to be a play.
Nick Penzetta takes strike 1 in the outside corner. Even with the throw being a bit up the first base line, it was a much closer play than I thought it would be.
And Blinn at second runs well now, too.
So that one's lined foul down the right field line towards the batting cages. Penzetta behind 0-2 in the count. We saw that a moment ago with Blinn, who was able to work it back even and then deliver that base hit. A chance for the 5-seeded Northstars to untie this game. Tied at 2. And a swing and a miss at a breaking ball. Awkward swing from Penzetta, who goes down on 3 pitches. That retires the side in the top of the 5th, but not before. Taylor Lomack able to work a walk, and then Blinn, the RBI base hit to knot it up at 2. To the bottom of the 5th we go. We'll see if Alberta can answer back. Back and forth we've been going on the CWL YouTube, our second playoff game of the day in day 2 of the CWL postseason. I'm Evan Schmeiser, joined by Jacob Kronberg. Taucher gets back to work in the bottom of the 5th with his Northstars able to tie the game a moment ago. His first pitch to the 7th man, Wataru Kumagai, is in the dirt. It goes to the screen. Kumagai was able to start the rally in the 3rd for the Grizzly with a hit-by pitch. Did that ball hit him? Yes, it did. Looks like it got Kumagai on his back foot. Second time in as many appearances he's been hit by a pitch. This one a little less painful, but a leadoff base runner for Alberta.
Be curious to see if he runs again. Not a big stolen base guy, but ran the first time he was on against Taucher.
We're also able to see pretty recently a strong throw from Brodnansky to nail a guy stealing. Showing bunt is Shirei, but he pulls it back and the pitch is outside. That forced the third baseman Downey to come charging in. It's not a bad idea. We've also seen several times in the CWL somebody showing bunt on the first pitch and then, whether it's a ball or a strike, swinging away the next pitch. Here's the 1-0 from Taucher. And Shirei takes outside. He did not square. That pattern continues for the moment.
That breaking ball just not in the feel of Brett Taucher today. A guy we usually see a lot of front door breaking balls from is struggling to throw it for a strike.
Shirei shows bunt this time, but he pulls it back for a strike called. He came into this inning with 58 pitches, but right now his velocity seems to be a little bit down, and the curveball is even less sharp than it was before. And a check on the runner first. It goes past Rankin all the way into the Northstars bullpen. It deflects towards the right field line. Youngblood able to back it up and hold Kumagai at second. A hit batter to start the inning. A ball that barely grazed the foot of Kumagai, and then a wild throw on a pickoff attempt. Puts him on second base with nobody out. In this game, tied at 2. Now we'll see if Tomakai Shirei shows bunt here. We've seen him show bunt twice in this at-bat. In the third pitch, he did not square. The corners are pinched in, expecting a bunt, and Shirei does not square and takes a high.
I'm not a huge fan of bunting. I really don't like bunting if it's not for a hit. But this is one of those scenarios where you just don't know how much more you're going to get against the pitching staff.
Here's the 3-1. Taking on the outside corner is Shirei, once again not squaring to bunt. 3-2 the count. Kumagai at second. Tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 5th. Alberta trying to answer back after Manitoba tied it a moment ago. Curveball swung on and missed by Shirei. A huge first out for Brett Taucher. Trying to work around a jam with a man on second base.
That's the second swinging strikeout over the last 3 hitters as well. In a situation where he could use maybe even another one of that swing and miss stuff that he's put on display all winter long.
That curveball was a lot more sharp than a lot of the earlier breakers we saw from Taucher. It brings up the 9th man, Desmond Gates. He drew a walk in the 3rd. He takes a breaking ball a little outside. RBI opportunity for Gates. The speedy, hard-hitting Travius Ford waits on deck. The Grizzly trying to untie this game at 2. Taucher comes set. He slide steps and deals. That curveball stays outside 2-0. Couple pitches towards the outer frame that he wanted but did not get the call. A long look in this time from Taucher. A big pitch coming up on a 2-0 count. And he deals. Good fastball in the inside corner, strike 1. There is action in both bullpens. Ubaldo Romo getting loosened up for the Grizzly. And it looks like
Braden
it's Braden
Quisenberry.
Yep. Trying to see around that pole for just a second. A breaking ball called strike 2. Evens the count 2-2 to Gates. Beg your pardon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Braden Bonner who's getting warmed up for the Grizzly, not Ubaldo Romo. 2-2 the count, 1 out. Kumagai looming at second. Chopped weakly up the first base line, foul. Gates able to stay alive on a pretty good breaking ball. Even with the pitcher's duel, the game has moved slower. Every pitch seeming more and more tense. Only 7 combined hits between Manitoba and Alberta, but a lot of base runners. Here's the 2-2 from Taucher. Fastball is high. Interesting situation coming up. You have Ford waiting on deck. First base is open. But even out of the 9 spot, Gates is a pretty productive hitter. A short lead at second from Kumagai, who has decent speed. Here's the 3-2. On the inside corner for a called strike 3. Taucher able to work a fastball back over the inner half to the lefty Gates. Back-to-back strikeouts and big ones at that for Taucher. Only his 4th of the afternoon. And with 2 outs, it brings up the leadoff man, Travius Ford. RBI single, his last at bat coming in the 3rd. That initially tied the game at 1. Well, he has a chance to give the Grizzly the lead. Kumagai at second base, 2 down. A curveball on the inside corner for a called strike. Ford in disagreement with that call. The outfield playing straight up. The second baseman, Blinn, keeping Kumagai close at second. Now he inches back to his normal spot. 0-1 on the inside corner again, 0-2. As Ford takes several steps out of the box, disgusted either at himself for taking it or the home plate umpire for the call.
I think he's upset that he bailed out early on that front door breaking ball.
He settles back in, crowding the plate a little more, holding his hands a bit higher. Taucher set with the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Taucher able to work around a hit batter and a man on second base, nobody out. He gets 3 consecutive punch-outs to retire the side in the 5th. We got a good one going in the Canadian Division round of the playoffs. Mounted up at 2 through 5.
We're knotted up at 2 as we begin the 6th from Palm Springs Stadium. Jacob Kronberg and Evan Schmeiser bringing you a nail-biter between the 5th-seeded Manitoba Northstars and the number 1 overall seed, the Alberta Grizzly. Wyatt Beto out for his 6th inning of work, and he throws a fastball up in the zone past Taylor Lomack for strike 1. Rather, Daniel Youngblood for strike 1. Wyatt Beto right back to it. Now he picks off the outer edge with a heater, and Youngblood behind in the count, 0-2, having yet to be retired today. A walk and a run scored in the 2nd, a single in the 4th. The wind has picked up, moving right to left. Infield plays Youngblood to pull. Beto shakes once to Murphy, now twice. Nods his head in agreement with the pitch. 0-2 fastball. In there, strike 3 called. After giving up the lead in the last inning, Wyatt Beto clicks right back into rhythm to start the 6th.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered, Jacob, especially being able to punch out the cleanup man, Daniel Youngblood. You have to wonder what kind of leash that Jared Lemieux is going to have with Beto. The moment you have Bonner just standing and waiting.
We are late in this one, and Alberta has had the extra day off. First pitch fastball on the outer edge, called a strike to Cole Brodnansky. Perhaps the hottest hitter all of a sudden in this lineup for the Northstars, coming off a 3-hit day, which included a home run. Beto's 0-1, pulled on the ground to the left side. Short hop, Kogare sets his feet, long throw across the diamond. Gets Brodnansky for out number 2. And the defense stays squeaky clean for the Alberta Grizzly.
Professional might be the best word that I can think of. This infield play from the Alberta Grizzly. Especially Kogare. He just dealt with a short in-between hop. A lot of other guys just end up kicking. Even a lot of professional shortstops. But he made it look pretty easy.
The infield hangs to the pull side against the big lefty Cole Rankin, who's tied up on a breaking ball inside for strike 1. 2-2 the score between the Northstars and the Grizzly. Beto out of the windup. 0-1 curveball. Drops over the outer edge for a called strike 2. And Beto rolling. Squared up toward home. He's got his sign. The 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses away. Wyatt Beto will stampede around the mound, now settle. Right foot on the rubber, left foot off. Glove covering the belt. He shakes. The 1-2, fastball low. And the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The shortstop, Kogare, virtually behind the second base back. Shirei, the second baseman, in the hole on the grass. And off the line at third is Sam Frontino. Beto's 2-2, lined up the middle for a base hit. And dropping to the ground is Wyatt Beto, who had already been hit on a comebacker today, and that one was instinct to get out of the way, as Rankin's aboard with a 2-out single.
Jacob, that was a bullet. That might be the loudest crowd reaction I've heard on a ball hit back to the box, too. I mean, it's a good thing that Beto's a pretty good athlete, because that was a close one.
Yeah, Jared Lemieux's going to go out and check on him. The ball did not get him. We want to make sure everyone at home knows he's all right, but it was a little thump when he hit the deck there. That ball on a line up the middle, and Beto made a business decision. And I think he made the right one. I don't think there's really anything that would have him in a scenario to come out of this game. But he's going to take a few more seconds to regroup. We're going to get a pinch runner at first base. Chi Hao 2 in to run for Cole Rankin. The go-ahead run on base in a 2-2 game as Taz Worrell takes a fastball up, ball 1.
it adds a whole extra dimension to this 6th inning. You put some extra speed on first, all of a sudden Beto, he has double the trouble having to worry about a base runner.
Working out of the stretch. Fastball tipped into the mid of Murphy for strike one. A run in the 2nd and 5th for Manitoba. Runs in the 3rd and 4th for Alberta were all square. Beto ready from the letters. 2 runs. Fastball line down the right field line. Moving over Hall. It's down for a hit. And past the outreach glove. Hall slips. Around third is 2. He's coming home. Hall with it to his feet. Relay in. Going for third. Worrell. He's in standing up. An RBI go-ahead triple for Taz Worrell. And the Northstars in front 3-2.
As soon as I saw that ball lofting out to right field with 2 running on the pitch and his speed, I thought that could be trouble. But as soon as we saw it kick by him, that was it. There was no chance. Too much speed. Just a big-time piece of hitting from Worrell going the opposite field.
That's a big play with a pinch runner now. Who knows how Rankin ends up on a ball hit that way?
Yes, you gotta give manager Brian Kloppe a lot of credit. We're gonna get a pitching change. I do not think Rankin would have scored all the way from first.
I think mainly because you wouldn't have had Rankin in motion like you did have Shihao too. But the Northstars with a 3-2 lead, and Jared Lemieux is going to go to the Grizzly bullpen. Northstars up 1. We'll step aside. Top of the 6th on the CWL YouTube. Welcome back to Palm Springs Stadium. The Northstars with a newfound lead in front 3-2 as Braden Bonner enters the game for the Alberta Grizzly. He faces Xiaopin Ho, and the first pitch misses outside for ball 1. 10th appearance of the year for Braden Bonner. He's been remarkable. 11 1/3 innings of no-run baseball. As he works from the stretch, low hand set. The 1-0 misses away. Just 5 hits allowed, just 2 walks issued by Braden Bonner, who will, like his teammates on the Grizzly, Travius Ford and Vincent Bird Jr., be heading to Lake Erie to play for Jared Lemieux in spring training. Bonner kicks and goes, and the 2-seamer runs over the outer edge for a called strike.
And it's a good test in a big situation for Bonner, trying to strand an inherited man over at third.
Worrell leads off third after the go-ahead triple. 2-1. Breaking ball misses low, and a 3-1 count issued to Xiaopin Ho.
This is a situation where if you're Bonner and Murphy, you need to be really smart about this. You're at the bottom of the order. You have the 9-man Donnelly waiting on deck and first base open. You cannot make this too good of a pitch.
Bonner kicks and delivers in the 3-1. Fouled back into the netting as the count works full. A 3-2 lead for the Northstars. Trying to upset the number 1 seed overall. Are we going to see upsets of the number 1 seed in both divisions? The Lumberjacks went down yesterday to the 4th-seeded Blue Sox. Worrell leads in foul territory off third. The payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Bonner got him with the high heat, and he strands the inherited base runner Taz Worrell at third. However, the Manitoba Northstars back in front in RBI triple from Taz Worrell has them leading 3-2. Toucher back to the bump for the home 6th. After this on the CWL YouTube. Two, 3, 4 due up in the order for the now trailing Alberta Grizzly. 3-2, the Northstars in front as Brett Toucher's first pitch of the bottom of the 6th. There's a fastball at the knees, taken for strike 1. Frontino, Jake Hall, and Jackson Murphy due up as Toucher works out of the windup and misses with the fastball. And not thrilled with the call, and we've seen it from both starters today, feeling a little squeezed. Right on right, the matchup. Toucher begins his motion home. Curveball. Misses up and in, and now he brings his hands to his knees. We have seen little emotion this whole season from pitchers about the strike zone, and given they've been pitcher zones a lot of the time. 2-1. Finds the upper portion of the zone, and the count evens up. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Sam Frontino, who is 0 for 2 today. A 3-2 lead for the Northstars, and Toucher in need of a shutdown inning. 2-2 pitch. Outside ball 3, and now we're going to get some grunts from the crowd.
We've been pretty used to seeing that borderline pitch go the pitcher's way more often than not.
The payoff pitch home. Inside ball 4. And there's some frustration on the face of Brett Toucher. There were 2 separate pitches there that I think he felt deserved strike 3. And he didn't get him. Now you put a good athlete on base in Sam Frontino for a part of the order that has hit Toucher well. It starts with Jake Hall.
You also have to be wondering with Toucher, how much is fatigue playing a role right now? Seemed like every pitch that at bat, he was grunting after he delivered it.
A work out of the stretch, but first a throw to first, and just in safely with a dive is Frontino. Braden Quisenberry gets back up in the Manitoba bullpen. He was throwing last inning.
I think you have to get him up, too. I was a bit surprised that the inning started with nobody up in the Manitoba bullpen.
Breaking ball. Hangs inside, and there's more visible frustration from Brett Toucher. Maybe a bit of frustration mixed with exhaustion, but the hands have gone to the knees twice. Toucher works from the third base side of the rubber, a shoulder high set. Peeks toward first. And the slider home dances in for a called strike 1. Frontino at first with 6 stolen bases on the year. A more than capable runner. But do you risk running into an out with the heart of the order up? He doesn't there, and Hall swings through a fastball for strike 2. The outfield deep in center and right, not that deep with Lomack in left. As the wind blows from right to left across the outfield. Taucher's 1-2. Tipped into the mid of Brodnensky. He holds on for strike 3. Half a dozen punch-outs on the day now for Brett Taucher. And with 1 on and 1 out, it's the Alberta catcher, Jackson Murphy.
It's a really gutsy effort on the mound from Taucher at the moment. You know he's wearing down just a little bit. You know he's near his end, but he's able to find it with some of his best fastballs and breaking balls we've seen today.
Uses the slide step, and the slider, which kind of fooled everybody, is called a ball.
It's another close borderline pitch, too. The frustration's got to mount a little bit. That's 3 or 4 pitches now that Taucher has not gotten the call.
Throw over to first, and Frontino in safely. And look, it's one thing to not get the calls, but the more visible frustration you show, probably the less likely you are to get that call the next time around.
That is generally how that works for a pitcher or a batter.
Taucher from the third base side of the rubber. 1-0. Popped up foul on the right side, and it drifts into the bleachers. One and one the count to Murphy, the Lafayette, Louisiana native.
At some point, I think Frontino needs to pick his pitch to take off.
Taucher looks that way, now delivers home. And the fastball misses up and out.
It's a tough thing to do, but Frontino, he needs to get a bigger lead. Put the pressure on Taucher, make him throw over a few times. We did see him have 1 throwaway on a pickoff attempt the previous inning.
2-1 slider. Hangs in, ball 3. Frontino being held on tightly by the new first baseman, Yen Heng Wu.
This has got to be perfect for Murphy.
This is pitch 91 of the day for Taucher. The 3-1, fouled back and out of play. We've seen few guys eclipse the century mark in pitches. But the playoffs are a different animal, and the way things are set up, today is probably the last appearance of the year for Brett Taucher.
I think you have to start Frontino right here. You have a guy in Murphy who's been pretty good at putting the ball in play.
The 3-2 pitch, no runner goes, and the fastball is on the outside corner. Strike 3 called, and Murphy now can't believe it. He tossed the bat away at one point, and he's down on strikes for out number 2.
I mean, as a catcher, Murphy would have a better idea of the strike zone than most people would, but that fastball is right there. I have no idea what he has to complain about. It's way too close to take. It's a challenge, fastball, straight, and you have to go after it.
It's a couple of big strikeouts after the leadoff single by Frontino. Brings up Rio Kogure, the left-handed hitting shortstop, who watches a breaking ball miss outside. Braden Quisenberry continues to stay warm in the Manitoba bullpen as the Northstars lead 3-2 late. Trying to upset the number 1 Alberta Grizzly. 1-0 from Taucher misses up. And now you can start to tell there's some fatigue out there.
Yeah, that pitch was pretty telling. That was a tired-looking breaking ball. I would have to think this would be Taucher's last hitter.
He continues to work from the third base side of the rubber and misses in. 3-0 the count to Rio Kogure. The tying run currently on base, if Kogure gets on, that would be the go-ahead run aboard as well.
I think you have to take all the way if you're Kogure.
3-0 from Taucher. On the outside corner, called strike 1 as Brett Taucher tries to battle back.
And you saw Kogure look around like he couldn't believe that was called a strike. So the borderline inside pitch was called a ball, and that fastball in the outer half was called a strike.
A check to Frontino. He runs. Pitch swung on and missed. Brodnanski's throw to second. In time. Shot down trying to steal second is Sam Frontino. And that gets Taucher and the Northstars out of the sixth, still in front, 3-2. We go to the last. It's the Northstars 3, the Grizzly 2. Manitoba looks for insurance with 9-1-2 in the order due up on the CWL YouTube. The Manitoba Northstars lead the Alberta Grizzly 3-2 as we begin the top of the last. 9-1-2 due up for the Northstars against Braden Bonner, who starts off Brett Donady with a fastball away, ball one. Bonner came in with 2 outs in the sixth to strike out Xiao Pinho and strand a runner at third. He gets his first full inning of work here as he falls behind Donady 2-0. The Grizzly defense guards the lines on the infield and the gaps in the outfield. As Bonner works on the far first base side of the rubber, hands held below the belt. The 2-0. Chopped foul around home plate, now 2-1. Donady 0 for 2. He is bounced out to shortstop twice. As the wind continues to blow from right to left. Bonner, the tall right-hander, stands straight up on the mound. Takes a deep breath and delivers the 2-1 sinker that's swung over for strike 2. Bonner from Murray, Utah. Played his college ball at both Dixie State and Utah Tech. An even count to Donady, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bonner kicks and goes, and Donady lines one down the left field line. It's down for a hit. Overrun by Tavius Ford, and it rolls to the wall. Donady digging for second. He'll put the brakes on there as Ford tosses it in. And a leadoff base runner for the Northstars, and they could not need more insurance.
I mean, that's a loud way to get things started in the 7th inning for Donady, especially coming from the 9-man. And the previous 2 innings, we've seen the Grizzly outfield really hurt themselves. We saw Jake Hall just an inning ago end up misplaying a base hit out to him and ended up going past him, and a bad route taken by Ford, let a ball go by him. And a day where great infield play has really stood out for Alberta. The the outfield at times has let them down.
It's going to go down as a single and then an E7, allowing Donady to advance as we move to the top of the Northstars order with Taylor Lomack, who takes a fastball upstairs for ball one. In on the grass at third is Sam Frontino. Behind the bag at first is Wataru Kumagai. Both Tomakai Shirei and Rigo Kogure hold on Donady. Bonner kicks and delivers, and Lomack pops it up foul behind home plate. Out of play it goes beyond the bleachers.
And I know Lomack has not squared either of these first two pitches, but it could be a good situation to try to push one up the first base line. If you can get it past Bonner on the mound, the second baseman Shirei is playing way back. Kumagai at first is playing back, and with Lomack's speed, it could be an easy base hit while also moving the runner to third.
Frontino continues to guard against the bunt.
Wow.
And that's going to be a balk. Braden Bonner began his delivery on the stride, stopped. And that moves Donady up to third with nobody out, giving you now two chances of outs to drive him in if you are the Northstars. Manitoba leading 3-2, and the entire Grizzly infield will come in. Frontino, Kogure, Shirei, Kumagai. From third to first, all on the edge of the grass. Donady leads in foul territory as Bonner works out of the stretch. His 1-1. Bounce to the left side. Kogure has it. Watches the runner back, and a throw to first beats Lomack for out number one. So the pressed infield prevails for the first out.
Now batting the second baseman, number 6.
Yeah, and to draw an infield all the way in, we've seen it already. You can't ask for a much better infield. You have great hands all the way around, good athletes, and they're quick getting the ball out of their glove. It's a wise decision to not send Donady on contact. Well, granted, with one out, now I'd say you should send him on contact.
He's not very far off the bag as Denver Blinn digs in. Singled homer run in the fifth, which at the time tied the game at 2. First pitch slider from Bonner misses away, ball one. It is fundamentals time for the Alberta Grizzly. You see both middle infielders backing up every throwback to Bonner. The infield is in, trying to cut down a run at home and keep it a one-run deficit for Alberta. Bonner, deep breath. His 1-0. On the inside corner, called a strike. The 5th-seeded Northstars ahead of the number 1-seeded Grizzly in the final inning of play, trying to play upset. Blinn calls time at home and steps out. He'll take one half-hearted practice swing and now kind of chop the bat like an axe. He digs in, circles the bat once, sways it twice, and is ready to go. Bonner's 1-1 in the dirt. Good stop by Murphy. Every pitch in the dirt. An adventure now with a man on third.
That was a tremendous play by Murphy. That curveball came up well short of home plate. It took every bit of his chest protector to keep it around home plate.
Northstars trying to get insurance. Up by 1 in the 7th. 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. A sharp slider from Bonner. Guy who is used to high leverage situations. Throughout his whole career, 57 career saves.
He certainly has the closer-like stuff.
His 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Biggest strikeout of the season for Braden Bonner. And that'll bring the infield back. With 2 outs, remaining on third is Brett Donady, who singled to start the inning, moved to second on an error, to third on a balk, all with nobody out. He's now there with 2 down. And Nick Panzetta, the last chance for Manitoba to tack on that extra run. First pitch fastball, slow bouncer to third. Frontino charges on the backhand, throws across the diamond and gets Panzetta by half a step. Braden Bonner plus the stellar defense behind him works out of a man on third, nobody out scenario in the top of the 7th, and we move to the bottom of the last. The Northstars 3, the Grizzly 2. Taucher trotting back to the mound, trying to go the distance. After this on the California Winter League YouTube.
Stop. Number 2, Rio Koguri.
5, 6, 7 due up in the bottom of the last for the Alberta Grizzly, trailing 3-2 against the Northstars. And Brett Taucher starts off Kogure with a fastball on the outer half. Strike one called. Taucher trying to go the distance as he misses outside with a slider, ball one. Being the 5 seed in the Canadian division, Manitoba had to participate in the play-in game against the 4th-seeded Rush. Their starter, Trey Morrill, went the distance in a win. Can Taucher do the same to propel his team into the semifinals as the slider finds the inside corner for strike 2? Outfield shifts the opposite way. Taucher's 1-2. Just off the inner edge of the plate. Evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Taucher wheels and deals. Slow roller left side. Donady charges. Gloves on the edge of the grass. Long throw to first. Just in time. Barely got Kogure, who runs very well out of the left-handed batter's box. And that's one down in the 7th.
For just a moment, I thought that extra crow hop from the third baseman Donady would end up costing him, but goodness, it's just in time. You can't ask for a better guy on the mound right now with Brett Taucher. Just a gutsy effort. You know he's wearing down.
He is laboring out there.
Yeah, he's the man of the moment, though.
He wants the moment. He wants to help send his team to the next round. But he's got to get through Andre White. The left-handed hitting designated hitter 0 for 2 today. And he swings through a first pitch breaking ball for strike 1. A hefty hack from White. Shading him up the middle is the shortstop Xiao Pin Ho. Guarding the line at first, Yen Heng Wu. Taucher kicks and goes. Fastball on the inside corner for a called strike 2. 3-2, Manitoba leading. Trying to upset Alberta. Taucher ahead, 0-2. Delivers home. Bouncer to second base. Awkward hop. Blinn stays with it. Throws on the move and gets White for out number 2. Couple of ground ball outs to start the 7th. and the Alberta Grizzly are down to their final life. We saw a walk-off in Game 1 of the playoffs yesterday, the chill over the power. Right now, the Grizzly would just be concerned about the one trying to extend it. Down 3-2, it's Waturo Kumagai. 2 plate appearances. He has been hit by a pitch twice. Coucher out of the windup. First pitch fastball. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Another gargantuan swing from a Grizzly hitter. Coucher peers in for the sign. His 0-1 sails up and away, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. If Kumagai can extend things, Tomokai Shirei waits on deck. Right on left the matchup. Coucher's slider hangs outside, ball 2. The wind has calmed, slight breeze from right to left. 2-1 pitch. Lifted into shallow center field. Sprinting in, Nick Panzetta. He's there. He makes the catch. And that's the ball game. The Manitoba Northstars win back-to-back days with complete game efforts from their starters, and they upset the Alberta Grizzly 3-2 in the Canadian Divisional Series. The Northstars are moving on to tomorrow, and the 5 seed lives to see another day as they will take on the British Columbia Bombers tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, Jacob, this is why you have to love playoff baseball so much. You truly never know what you're going to get. Unbelievable effort by Taucher. He did not have his best stuff by any means. He put more guys on than we're used to seeing from him. At times frustrated himself, frustrated with calls from the home plate umpire. But talk about just digging in and finding a way. That's truly the mark of a professional pitcher.
He throws well over 100 pitches. Goes the distance for the second day in a row for a Northstars arm, giving up just 3 hits, 2 earned runs, striking out 7, and walking a pair, and he gets a well-deserved win as the Northstars take down the Grizzly 3-2, and our semifinals are set. In the American Division, it'll be the 4th-seeded Blue Sox taking on the 2nd-seeded Chill, and in the Canadian Division, the 2-seed, the British Columbia Bombers, will host the 5-seed Manitoba Northstars as both top seeds are eliminated in round 1. Once again, the final score, the Northstars 3, the Grizzly 2. For my partner, Evan Schmeiser, I'm Jacob Kronberg. This has been California Winter League Playoff Baseball. On the CWL YouTube, we will see you tomorrow.